Hello and welcome back to Pandemic Playground with Dave. So today we have another Space Engineers experiment, which is removable cargo containers. Is there a point in this? Absolutely not. Alright, so I ported over my Space Survival Adventures truck, which was the orange truck with the compact drilling hinge connecting system. Instead of having that on here, I maintained the 3 cargo containers, but I added some merge blocks, connectors, and so forth, so that this truck is actually just going to be our cargo container truck, or whatever you want to call it. And I really want to experiment with this and see if we can move cargo containers from one spot to another spot to act as like a cargo truck, or like a cargo container in real life kind of situation, and it kind of works, and it's not too bad. So generally you gotta make sure to program everything, whether using timing blocks, putting your groupings up and everything like that. So you're gonna see that it's gonna go in a circle basically to grab this cargo container and then move it into this spot, and then grab a cargo container from here to move to that spot. So how do we do that? It's fairly easy, I think. You want to take a rotor system down here. So it's actually hidden a little bit. So it's a rotor system that goes 360. And we have some pistons just to extend forward a little bit, just to grab it from here, because it's not a complete circle. And we'll just have to unlock the merge blocks, the connectors, and connect the top one to start lifting it. So for an example, let me show you how that looks like. Alright, so we have everything kind of programmed here already. So what I'm going to do is extend the piston in the front on the top, so it goes a little bit more forward. And I programmed it so that I can just put everything in hotkey by pressing 7 right now to extend the maximum distance, and then hit reverse, which is my 9. So then it should go up to the top connect of that cargo, like so. Alright, so we extended it just a little bit, and it should be right on top of it. So 5 is going to drop the piston going down, and then 6 is going to connect. And of course you can do this in any way, but I just do reverse. I try to make it as simple as possible doing reverse pistons. And with this connector, I press 6, which is my switch lock. So now I'm locked in. And technically, I could just lift up the whole thing with the truck and move stuff, but I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do, it's going to actually be to unlock the connectors, which is already unlocked actually. So we'll unlock the connectors on the bottom, and then we'll unlock the 2 merge blocks here. So once I hit 1, which is a grouping, it's going to unlock those 2. And then we're going to bring up the piston, and everything is unconnected. So now, technically, we can spin this around counterclockwise to store it on that other spot, but it's already taken. So what I'm going to do now is going to reverse it so that it can go towards this section here. Alright, so we probably want to bring this a little bit closer that way. You can easily turn on the merge blocks and then just drop it down from here. And by dropping, I mean lowering the piston, not actually just dropping the whole thing, which you kind of can do, but you might damage something. So once I drop it down low enough, it should connect and pretty much lock right in and turn green. So right there, so it's green. And then we can connect our connectors on the bottom, and it should load up all the storage into our multiple containers here. And of course you want to do that with sometimes you want to do it with the sorters, so you can have it collect everything from these boxes and move it into a certain area that you want. The only problem, if you do it that way, it's going to be harder for you to extract anything here while the sorter is going one direction. So you kind of have to make a loop if you do want to connect it to another spot. But in this case, we want to shift things around, store it, and then move the next box around basically. So the next thing to do is unlock off this one, lift up the piston, and then go around to the other container. And this one's going to be a little bit more difficult because, again, you just got lower the maximum distance because, again, I didn't build this whole thing in a nice rotating circle. But it's okay. Not a big deal. So I can decrease the maximum distance. Well, probably increase it a little bit. Have it extended to its maximum distance that's allowed. Have it go down. And we should be able to lock. If not, then we just probably extend it just a little bit more. And we are a little bit off. So we just got to shift it over a bit. So we got to lock in. And now we just got to find the groupings. This should be this grouping here. It's unlocked. The merge block is off. And we're going to lift it up. Alright. So then we can turn back the merge block if we wanted to. And from here, we will let the rotor move into the truck. Into this direction. It should work okay. It shouldn't hit anything. Hopefully. But now we can load up the truck with a empty cargo containing system. And then move the truck along. Get some digging done if there was drilling systems on here. And then come back and switch cargo containers. And we can easily move storage that way. Again, this is probably not practical whatsoever. It was, again, just a random experiment that I like to do to see if it actually worked or not. And it took a bit of time to make, but it definitely does work perfectly fine. And it should lock in there. So now we're locked in, and we come out of it. So now it has a new cargo container. We can just drive right off, and then get some storage done. Come back, swap out the cargo containers, and move on from there. Obviously, you can easily do it in a different way. You can do it in two different ways. One, have a connector on your cargo container, and then have a connector on the base, and then just back up into it, or however you want to do it. And then the other way is to have actually a connecting connector with pistons that are all connected, and then it'll find the connecting spot. So for an example, if this was the connector spot, this is a connector spot, all this needs to link into a conjunction or what we call plumbing, so that it can come down here, and these would probably be conveyor junctions, and goes all the way down here and connect to the storage. That way it can easily move stuff from one thing to another. But of course, I like to make things difficult and just make things look interesting and try different things. So I decided to move the cargo itself with the stuff inside, and move one cargo to another cargo just to make that storage. Again, this was just an experiment to see if it actually works. It actually does work okay. There's some things that can be better, and I try to work with timing blocks so that we can time each rotation. So that if it's rotating from this direction to this direction, we have to kind of time the seconds so that it fits right towards the middle of this connector. And then the next timing block would go to this one. And then again, the next timing block would go to this one. So I tried to do that, and it worked okay. But I couldn't get the timing down, and I felt like I was wasting a little too much time, so I gave up on it. But it's definitely doable. I have the first timing block on my one to go 180 degrees backwards. So it's going to go that way. And I set it for about 30 seconds. And it's give or take very close to 30 seconds. It's just slightly off so that it's not perfectly aligned sometimes. And with this rotation, it's going to make it not perfect either. So that was the biggest issue that I had. But it still worked okay. It wasn't too bad. I can use it as a baseline and then might do minor adjustments with my rotor locks and my reverse, basically, of the rotor in the bottom. So as you see here, 30 seconds is close. It's a little bit off, so I gotta do like 30.2 seconds, 30.2 seconds, 30.30 seconds, something close to that. And then I just gotta keep doing that. And number 3 is to make this 45-degree angle so that it can get over there to the next spot. And then the next one is number 5. It's going to rotate another 45-degree angle. And that's all time close to about 15 seconds. they're slightly off because it's not a perfect circle. So you gotta kind of calculate a little bit more than 15 seconds or less. It's plus or minus, to be honest. It worked okay, but again, it just gets run short. And then the more rotations it does, it's just gonna run even more shorter, so or longer, either one. So that is a decent idea. So it's more automated, but definitely not the way to go if you don't have the patience to time everything. So yeah, if you have a good idea to kind of time this better or make the rotations more perfect, leave a comment below. So there's no mods or scripts that are here. We probably can add them to make life easier, but if we could do it in vanilla, I would ultimately likely to keep it as a vanilla build to showcase it to our space engineers, whether it's PC or Xbox. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this quick random experiment that is fairly pointless like most of my experiments, but they're more for a visual concept, more for something different, and just, you know, building, which is always fun to do in Space Engineers. So of course, if you did enjoy this experiment, hit that thumbs up, like the video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and of course, leave us some comments as well. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.